This episode is brought to you by Trump Mortgage.
Good day. I'm Sarah Tilson, and this is The Real Deal. Hotel and office tower deals dominated New York City commercial news this week, while chilling reports about home price declines and the cancellation of a luxury condo project rattled the residential market. Boston Properties has entered into a contract to sell 5 Times Square for $1.3 billion, or $1,181 a square foot. That could be the highest price per foot paid for any office building in the United States. The buyer of the 37-story tower reportedly hails from Dubai. Another Dubai-based investor, Istithmar, has bought the empty lot at 140 West 42nd Street in Times Square for $76 million. The firm, which also owns the former Knickerbocker Hotel next door to the lot, plans to build a hotel condo there. Irish investors have bought Beekman Tower Hotel and Eastgate Hotel in Midtown for $151 million. The new owners plan $40 million of renovations for the two hotels over the next 2 years. Manhattan's Fifth Avenue remains the world's most expensive shopping street, according to an annual report by brokerage Cushman & Wakefield. An average 1,000-square-foot retail space on Fifth Avenue, at its most expensive stretch near the junction with 57th Street, now rents for around $1,350 per square foot annually. Deutsche Bank plans to sell 60 Wall Street. The 50-story, 1.6 million square foot tower would change hands in a sell-leaseback deal. Apple Computer will open its third Manhattan location on West 34th Street near Fifth Avenue. The store will be in an SL Green-owned building. The New York Times Company won't occupy as many floors in its new headquarters building as originally planned. The company will now take 23 of the first 29 floors in the 52-story tower going up on 8th Avenue near the Port Authority bus terminal. The office portion of 1745 Broadway is on the sales market. The 150-year leasehold on 675,000 square feet of Class A office space owned by Jamestown is likely to fetch more than $500 million. The Sutton Hotel is no longer going condo. In fact, the building, which was going to be called Sutton East Condominium, has been sold and will once again be operated as a hotel for long-term guests. The doomed condo had signed contracts for only 8 of the 78 planned units. The number of office leases in Manhattan at above $100 per square foot has jumped more than 10 times since 2002. So far in 2006, there have been 31 leases at above the $100 threshold. On Monday, the city reissued a request for proposals to buy and develop a site between 125th and 127th Streets and 3rd and 2nd Avenues. The site has been dubbed Uptown New York. The new proposals have to cap the number of apartments in any development at 1,000, in a maximum of 2 towers. Half the apartments of any development done there would have to be rentals. 10 historic houses in the Brooklyn Navy Yard are slated for demolition to make way for a supermarket. Along with the supermarket, plans call for 7 buildings to be built at the Navy Yard over the next 3 years. Develop Don't Destroy Brooklyn, an umbrella group opposed to the Atlantic Yards project in downtown Brooklyn, filed a federal lawsuit against several defendants, including Forest City Ratner, the developer of the proposed 8.8 million square foot project. The lawsuit includes 10 plaintiffs, all tenants and owners who would be displaced by Atlantic Yards. Sales numbers for condos and co-ops in Manhattan have become roughly equal in the past year. This, despite the fact that the ratio of owner-occupied apartments in the borough is 75% co-op to 25% condo. New home prices nationwide tumbled year over year, farther than they have in more than 35 years. According to new government data, the median price of a new home dropped 9.7% in the last year, the biggest such drop since December 1970. Median existing home prices nationwide posted their biggest drop on record in September, according to new numbers from the National Association of Realtors. The median fell 2.2% to $220,000 in the last year, the biggest year-over-year drop since the then-record 2.1% drop in November 1990. The Manhattan rental market will continue to favor landlords for at least the next 2 years, according to a new report. The average monthly asking rent will rise to $3,412 by the end of 2006, according to the report from brokerage Marcus Millichap. At the same time, vacancy rates are projected to drop. A new state law would make it harder for mortgage brokers who are fired by one company or who have been the subject of fraud complaints to move to different states or companies and continue as brokers. The law, which has to be signed into effect by Governor Pataki, would also require mortgage brokers to register with the State Department of Banking. For the third straight time, the Federal Reserve held short-term interest rates steady. The Fed, however, warned that additional rate increases may be needed to stem inflation. The State Court of Appeals, New York's highest court, ruled that landlords are not required to install radiator covers in apartments. The ruling will protect landlords from lawsuits if toddlers burn themselves on exposed radiators. The Dia Art Foundation has canceled plans to open a museum at the entrance of the High Line, the park planned along a former elevated train track in West Chelsea. Other cultural organizations may now take the space on the park. A 31-foot-wide townhouse in Park Slope has reportedly set a one-family townhouse sales price record for that neighborhood. The townhouse at 45 Montgomery Place sold for more than $6 million. A recently released City Council report concluded that nearly one-third of online rental apartment ads that tout no broker fees are fraudulent. The council tracked 223 agents who advertised no-fee apartments on Craigslist.org and Backpage.com and found that 31% of the apartments did, in fact, have broker fees. Thank you for joining us for this edition of the Real Deals webcast. Please join us next week for the latest real estate news. I'm Sarah Tilson, and this is The Real Deal.